this is Sonia with RC Solutions, and welcome to the Tim Holtz Monday, using up my Hoarded Stash final series for the month of October. I only wanted to do it just for the month of October. And even though this is October and Halloween season, I decided I wanted to kind of do like a Christmassy sort of winter theme. So it has like a coffee slash tea slash warm drink theme. So basically what I did was make some shaker cards, and I used the Tim Holtz die. It's called Coffee Time. It's a Framelits, and it has like Framelits, stamps, and an embossing folder. It's called Coffee Time, but that's basically all I used. And I added a couple of die cut shapes and things like that, and some stickers and things like that. So here's one of them, and you can see the shaker, and you can see the stamped and embossed coffee cup inside, and they're all pretty much the same size, pretty small. And you can add these to your cards, your scrapbooks, your journals, just whatever you want to add them to. And I did them in like red and blue, and I created the backdrop for it on the inside. And just added some little sequins from Dollar Tree. Add a little bit of what do you call it? Just some die cut stuff. They were stamped and embossed, stamped, and it wasn't embossed. And then this was dry embossed. That was heat embossed. But yeah, there's one, and then I just added some stickers and some more stuff. And then here's another one. It's pretty similar to the other one. So, and then I added like a little sticker. Well, not a sticker, but another little die cut. And then here's this one. Real fun and really simple, very easy to do. So let me go ahead and show you how I made it. Okay, so I'm going to take this Sizzix Framelits die, Tim Holtz. This is the coffee, what is this? Coffee Time, yeah. And it's all-in-one. You get an embossing folder, you get stamps, and you get your framelits that you can die cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some of the images on some white cardstock. It's 110-pound cardstock. So, and I'm going to stamp several different colors. And I'm going to use some broken china, distressed oxide ink. So now we're just going to stamp it with some of this distressed oxide, this broken china. What I should have did was, that's not too bad. I meant to rub it with some distress ink, some distress glaze, Tim Holtz. So I'm just going to take some of this Tim Holtz distress glaze, and I'm going to just rub a little bit over top of this because I'm going to be embossing it. I'm really loving this glaze. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it. And then I'm going to put some embossing powder over top of it. Or embossing, distress, what is this called? Distress glaze. So you've got, this is a distress glaze, micro distress glaze. And then I'm going to be using it with this embossing glaze. Okay, so now I'm going to die cut these coffee cups out, and let me just add them on here and move these out of the way. So over here, and I'm just going to add them to my little Sizzix die cut machine and get ready to, hold on, let me just cut these out. Okay, so actually I need to put it on this. This is my cup plate. So I'm going to get the die, the shape of the cup. And then we're just going to roll it through and cut it. And here's our cut, we have our cup. So I'm going to cut all these out, and then we're going to start playing around with it. And I'm going to cut the lid and some other stuff also in just a minute. Okay, so I have these cut out, and then some of them are a little offline, so but I can still work with it. So we've got those. Now what I want to do is I want to cut out some of the, let's see, this is a good one, this is a good one, and then with the blue, this is not the greatest, this is a good one, this is a good one. So what I'll do is I'll take, I guess I'll have to take it off of these. This part right here that goes in the middle, I'm going to cut that from these. Hopefully it won't move around. And then you can add like this over top of this, and it'll still look pretty good, you know. That's just an example. So I'm just going to take these off of like here, and then the other red one. And I'm going to take this paper bag, and I'm going to use this embossing folder. I'm just going to put it in there, and I'm going to emboss it. And we're going to see what we can come up with. I'm going to have to use this different platform because for some reason it appears that the magnetic platform is a little bit thicker than the standard platform or the extended platform. So in order for me to emboss this, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to use the extended platform and then create my sandwich. I have my base plate, my embossing folder, my paper, and my other top plate. And let's just go ahead and send it through. Alright. And then I finished it off on this side. Then I can do something with it. I'll probably cut that or something. So I'm probably going to let this be like a backdrop. Okay, and I'm just going to create like a background. I'm just going to take some of this Speckled Egg Distress Spray, and I'm just going to randomly spray on it. And then I'm going to, I'm going to take a little bit of this, I'm going to dry this first. Then I'm just going to take some of the Speckled Egg Distress ink, not Oxide ink, just Distress ink, and just kind of create like a pattern. And then I'm just going to come back through with this Distress Glaze. And let me get a Q-tip. Okay, so I've got a Q-tip. I'm just going to dip it down this glaze. And I'm just going to just randomly create some little swirly lines. Almost kind of like snow. And I'm just going to put some dots. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some Speckled Egg Embossing Glaze. And I just want to see what kind of effect it's going to give, it's going to have. Okay, so I created this little backdrop, and it has like some shine to it, and it's cute. It's kind of cute. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and build up our coffee cups. So I'm going to set this to the side for now. And I'm going to distress the outer edges. These two look good, but I'm not real fond of these two, simply because of the excess, the sides where they were die cut at. But yeah, I'm not real fond of those. So okay, but I don't know, I still might do something with it. I still need to do something with it. What I may do, I do like that upper part on that one, and I like the upper part on that one, and the bottom part on that one, and the bottom part on that one. I just don't like these. But what I may do is just put this over top, and then just kind of work it in. Yeah, we'll substitute it in there. I'll substitute this over top like this. Okay, so I think I'll put this red over top, and that'll blend in really well right there. So I'm just going to add it, but before I do that, I'm going to distress it just a little bit. You know, I have to distress it. I don't know, I just have to distress my stuff all the time. So we're just going to add a little bit of brown Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink around it. and then I'll connect it. And then I'm going to glue this on. Okay, and then I think I'll put this right here. I could die cut that out, but I'm just gonna regular cut it out. Fussy cut it out. Okay, so we have 4 of these. 2 blue, 2 red, and I really need to do something with this to have a 3rd one. I'm just going to set them to the side for now. Okay, so now that we have these, we want to create a background. This is going to be the background. So let me just cut this in 4s. So this is 8.5 by 11. Then I need a 5.5 or 5 1/4. No, wait a minute. 8.5, 4 1/4. By 5.5. 4 1/4 by 5.5. And this is going to be the base for our card, our shaker cards. So we're going to create our box. So I'm just going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to score it at a 1/2 inch and then another 1/2 inch. Half inch and then another 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, then another 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch, and then another 1/2 inch on all 4, so that when it bends, and make sure it's going to fit. It will fit. This piece and this piece and this piece. So we're just going to have this little piece coming here, that's folding down, and then that's going to come right there like that. So after you score it around each edge, you're going to come in and you're going to leave this little flap here, but you're going to take that flap off on each side. The flap that's closest to where your fold, that's the one that you're going to leave. And then you're going to cut the other one off. So that's what it'll look like. I'm going to do all 4 of these like that. Okay, so now that I've scored them, you know, 1/2 inch all around, then I cut it, and I kept this small little tab close to this bottom flap right here. So now I'm going to glue these together, and basically I'm just going to fold these little flaps in, the small flaps, and you can use double-sided tape or wet glue. I'm just going to use some wet glue. Add just a little bead of glue there, bead of glue right there, and we're just going to put together, kind of hold it in place, and this is going to fold out. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm gluing it together right here really well, make sure it's connecting good right there. Same thing right here. That's going to go out. This is going to fold out. This is going to fold out. This is going to fold out. We're going to go ahead and put our little flaps inside. And I like to go ahead and fold it, kind of burnish it, not really burnish it, but like, yeah, kind of burnish it a little bit right there, so that when you fold it over, when you add your glue, this will just go straight together. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that little dab of glue right here. Just a little bit and just a little dab right there. And then we're just gonna put them together. You know, you might have to hold it just a moment just to make sure that they stay. You want to look and make sure that they look good on the corners and that they're attached good, because you don't want your sequins and things like that to come out. So we're just going to make sure that they're in there really well. I'm just going to let that dry for just a little bit. And I want to go ahead and I want to distress it a little bit using that same vintage photo. I'm just going around the edges just a little bit just to kind of make it look blended in, you know. Okay. And then you can add your backdrop. You can, what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to keep it really simple. And because I'm not sure where I'm going to put these at yet. I don't know if I'm going to use these in a card or if I'm going to use these in a journal or a mixed media project. I'm not real sure what I'm going to use these with. But so I might just leave these as is once I get them assembled. So the first thing I'm going to do, each one of these are going to have obviously a cup of coffee, or a coffee cup that is. And I'm going to use some of these Pop Dots. I don't think, do I have some open though? I don't think I have any open. These come from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to add these. Just going to, I'm going to lift up. Hold on. I'm going to lift these little coffee pieces up. And you can tear this off or however you want to do it. And I'm going to put a piece here, and I'm going to put a piece here, and I'm going to put a piece or two pieces in the middle. That way it's completely lifted up. And then I'm just going to peel it. I'm going to peel the back off and I'm going to stick it on there. I need this sharp edge to peel this sticker stuff off of here. I'm going to go ahead and set this in the middle as best I can. So it's lifted up a little bit. I hope you can see that. And I'm going to go ahead and add some sequins. I'm going to add all these in here as well. But before I do that, I'm just go ahead and show you what I'm getting ready to do. Let me move all this out of the way. I'm going to add some sequins, whatever they're called, this little shaker stuff. I'm adding some blue. You can add whatever color you like. I think I need some light colors. So I think I'm going to add a little bit of white, some of these little beads, make it look like snow. And maybe another color of blue. Thought about doing green, but I think that'll be too much. Then I'm going to add just a dab of gold, just a little tiny bit of gold. And then I'm going to take a piece of acetate, and I measured this when I cut this. I cut the paper. I took a 8.5 inch by 11 inch paper and literally cut it in half. So it was like 5.5 by 4 1/4. Each one of these were 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then I scored it a 1/2 inch around each one. So by the time I did that, cut it, glued it, it measures approximately 4.5 by 3 1/4. So I cut some acetate at 4.5 by 3 1/4, and I'm going to be gluing it onto the front of this. Now it's going to get covered up. This shaker is going to get covered up, so that's fine. Okay, so let me zoom in just a little tiny bit so you can see. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue. Now you can use double-sided tape on this too, or wet glue, however you want to do it. I'm just going to try with this wet glue. It's like I said, it's going to get covered up anyway. So and then I'm just going to set that piece of acetate over top. Okay. And I'm just going to let that dry. And don't worry about the outer part of it, because the only part that's going to show is literally just this inner portion, which I need to measure. So I'm just going to let this dry. I'm going to set that to the side. And what I should have did was just go ahead and measure. You could either measure this bottom portion. Hold on, let me back up just a little bit. You can either measure this bottom portion, or you can measure the inside of this, which is the same. So we're measuring this right here. Whatever you want for like a card cover. I think I'm just using a solid color. I like this dark blue. So this is just some 65-pound cardstock. And what I'm going to do is, okay, what did we say this card was? So the card size, or this shaker size, is roughly 3 1/4 by looks like 4.5 by 4.5, and the shaker window is 3.5 by 2 1/4 inches. Alright, so what we're going to need that same size opening for the size card that we're going to cut. So the card size, we can just add about a 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to add a 1/2 inch. I need to make a shaker that's 5 3/4. I need to make a card that's 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to flip this over to the back. And I'm going to put this in the middle like so, as best I can. And try to center it. Then I'm just going to take a pin. Now this is on the back side, so this side isn't going to show. And I'm just going to go around the edge so I can know where to cut it at. And I'm going to be cutting the window. So I'm just tracing around this. Okay. So this is almost in the middle. But what I may do is I may just, when I cut it, cut this line over just a little bit and cut this line over just a little bit. That way I'm still kind of in the middle. Or what I could have did was just simply measure. So this is 4 1/4. And I'm not going to throw all that. I'll just do it like I said. So I'm just going to cut this. Let me slide it over to about right here at roughly 1 inch. Maybe just a slight bit more than 1 inch. And then start here, go up to here. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm just going to come over 1 inch to that right there. And if I messed it up, that's fine because I can fix it. But I think it's centered so far. And then I'm just going to come back through. That's pretty much centered, I think. So now what I'm going to do is hope for the best, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to line these up together, and then I'm just going to trace around it. And then I'm just going to put these together, and then I'm just going to cut it. Hopefully I will get it right. Okay, so I think I did okay. They're overall pretty, they're measured quite well. I think this will work. So I'm just going to turn them all over. And basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and distress these on the inside or around the edges. I might just come in like this and stress it. Okay, and then I'm going to go take, you want to make sure your glue dries completely because you don't want to get any sequins hung up in there, but if it does, don't worry about it. It's fine. It'll be okay. So it's best to make sure your glue is dry first. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and, for time's sake, I'm going to cover this up. And I'm going to be putting some decorations around it, so it's fine. Even if that glue is showing, I can still do something to cover it up. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some glue around this edge, the outer part of it. Because we don't want the glue to get inside of it like it did, you know, when I put the window on there. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. And even though you see that right there, that's fine because it's going to get covered up with one of our little signs sentiments that I cut out once I find where I set them at. It says, "Hello, friend." And I think I'm going to lift that up too. So let me get my double-sided tape out again. And I'm just going to add on something. This is going to be kind of a Christmassy kind of theme. I may come back and add something to that. I may add some stamping or something. But that's the base idea of what one of them could look like. And then I'm going to decorate the rest of them. Okay, now I'm going to take some of this right here and then I'm going to add it. Okay, so I'm going to make some bottoms for these, and they're going to be the same width and length as the top part of it. So 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 5 3/4 by 4 1/4. 4 1/4. And then I'm just going to glue these onto those. And then we'll basically be finished. So I'm just going to glue this bottom part on here. It just makes it a little more sturdy, you know. And then you can just add it to a card or mixed media project, whatever you're working on. Maybe a journal cover or a scrapbook cover or scrapbook page or whatever, you know. So it just makes it more sturdy. I'm going to do all these the same, and that's going to be pretty much it. So real easy project using what you have. Make your own stuff. I'm sure they sell dies and stuff out there as far as for you to make your own for you to make your shaker cards, but you don't need special dies for that. You can use what you already have and then come up with your own. Make it your own style in your own size, and it's so much fun to do. This is pretty much it. And here it is. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos and my blog and my social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.